Let's talk about the civil war that's going on in the Republican Party. Look, the bottom line is the establishment Republicans, the leadership of the Republicans, wanted to create Frankenstein and let Frankenstein off easy. Yes, we got elected by saying we defund Obamacare. We'll have a bunch of fake votes. And then it'll pass because President Obama's he's in control of everything. He's a mastermind. He's a Kenyan socialist. One day he's controlling terrorist groups in Nairobi. The next day he's putting up wire with a special wire put-upper button that they close off the memorial. I mean, this was the plan. But then they got out-cravened by the even more craven fundamentalist Ted Cruz and Mike Lee. And here's Mike Lee, this fundy Tea Party guy from Utah, talking to Hugh Hewitt on how he and Ted Cruz were much maligned in a Senate Republican caucus meeting. Now, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm above that. But I'm just going to tell you I am the true one leader. And when Ted Cruz and I run for president and vice president, we will control everything. Plus, I'm also making a lot of money on fundraising. And what can I tell you? Thank you, Hugh, for having me.
Now, I got to ask you, a lot of people have been very critical of you, pundits especially. I think of some people at the Washington Post like Jen Rubin and others who've been critical of you and Senator Cruz for beginning this effort. I was one of the people who didn't think it was going to work, but I've changed my mind. I was wrong. It's actually catalyzed quite a lot of important issues, and it's really leading to a good, I think, outcome. But how do you...
Let me tell you what Hugh Hewitt is saying right here. Okay, I'll translate. One is, I thought this was a bad strategy, and then I got a bunch of money from the Heritage Foundation or Hillsdale College, and I started to realize I've come around on it, and I've started to realize that these people are buttering my bread, and so I'm with you. That's why I'm going to have you on here, Mike Lee, so that I can associate myself with you and continue to get this sweet, sweet right-wing money. Apparently the Koch brothers put in $200 million, and this is how it's filtering down to me. Continue.
How do you view your critics who are really lambasting you in very personal terms?
Well, first of all, we have to remember that right at first, a lot of people were saying it was not even possible to come up with legislation that could keep everything else in government funded while defunding Obamacare. They said it was not physically, legally possible. Then they said it was just highly improbable. And more they're seeing that this movement is unstoppable. It's unstoppable because the American people are getting behind it.
None of what he just said was true. It's not getting easier to defund Obamacare. It's not getting easier to close it down, and the American people are not getting more and more supportive of it. Continue.
And as to the personal nature of the attacks, unfortunately, that's become the nature of Washington. We see it within both political parties. We see it among people who call themselves conservatives or liberals. It generally tends to be from people who are part of the Washington, D.C. establishment, whether they're in office or in media or they're practicing in the art of political punditry. But they tend to attack personally when somebody comes along and raises an idea that they haven't thought of. But over time, many of them tend to come around, and those who don't discredit themselves when they discredit the American people.
Now, there was allegedly a Republican Senate conference meeting earlier this week where your colleague Ted Cruz took a lot of slings and arrows. Were you there, Senator Lee?
Yes, I was there. And, normally I don't comment at all on closed-door meetings among Republican senators. It's a pretty strict rule we follow. The one exception I'll make is in circumstances like this one, where the contents of the meeting were leaked deliberately by several of my colleagues, and leaked in a very one-sided way. So I'm happy to tell you about it here.
Please do.
There was an all-out attack against Ted Cruz and me. It was unflattering. It was unfair. It was demeaning. It was demeaning to Senator Cruz and to me, but more than anything, it was demeaning to those who engaged in the attacks.
How many senators rose to speak against you guys?
Quite a few, enough that I lost count. And, I have to...
That's a lot of senators. Go.
I have to ask the question, why were those who leaked this and leaked it in a very unflattering, unfavorable way, why were they not willing to attach their names to those quotes. You know, Ted Cruz and I spoke after the meeting, and we both concluded we would both be fine with the American people seeing and hearing exactly what we said in that meeting. But we're pretty sure that most of our colleagues would be very uncomfortable and downright embarrassed if their constituents saw the way they were behaving.
Did anyone rise to your defense?
Sort of.
Sort of?
Not really. He and I, of course, rose to each other's defense, but and there were a couple who said some things that were somewhat conciliatory. There were a lot of people who were participating directly in the attacks, adding fuel to the fire. There were a lot of others who were staring at their shoes. But look, I want to keep the main focus here on Obamacare.
There you have it, folks. And I think at one point in Hugh had even mentioned something about Hillsdale College. This is it, folks. You want to know everything that we were talking about with Digby, about the money. They're all getting paid. And this is working for them. Politically or not, it's not the issue. This is a business for them. This is a business. They're all on that Heritage Foundation, Koch brother money. And anybody who does not provide any analysis you hear of what is going on, that does not note that every person engaged in this sort of insurrection on the right is getting paid in a way they've never gotten paid before, has done you a disservice. I'm telling you that right now.